Hi, I'm Fran.
And I'm Sophie, and we are the Grand Coalition.
There's been an election in the UK over, how long ago was it now?
Probably about 2 months ago, we're really late.
Yes, in 2010, no one won the election and we ended up with a Conservative Lib Dem coalition.
We were about 23 short of winning a majority.
Yeah, so they were in a coalition with the Lib Dems. We'll explain the terms later on if you don't know what they are. So
we are planning to talk about the different political parties in a lot more depth in the future. But no one really wanted another coalition. But it was strange because everyone was utterly convinced that it was going to happen. And this kind of whiz kid American statistician,
yeah,
I feel like
who virtually predicted the American election,
predicted the Conservatives would go down to 278 seats, which is about 50 short of a majority.
So that would have made it a really tight,
just an awful situation.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, the election in the UK is kind of a lot different to the US because, well, ours is about 6 weeks long, was it? And in America, I mean, it's never ending. It just keeps going.
Just because it's short doesn't mean it's uneventful.
I mean, there was a lot.
There was a lot that happened. We had Debategate, where sitting Prime Minister, the Conservative David Cameron, was hugely criticised for refusing to debate Labour Party leader Ed Miliband one-to-one. The debates weren't all that great, to be honest.
No.
I mean, it was funny when I'd fell off the big queue on Question Time, and I got so angry watching the opposition leaders debate. It consisted of like the 5 main other parties that weren't in government at the time. So
to be fair,
UKIP, SNP, Green, Labour, the Welsh ones, Plaid Cymru.
Yeah.
We had a few funny brain fade moments as well.
Oh god, there were quite a few. Probably the best was David Cameron.
After saying several times in years previously that he's an Aston Villa fan, urged voters to support West Ham.
That, if you haven't seen it, there's a brilliant clip on Newsoids of the Bet Top. Brilliant.
Newsoids, we recommend absolutely. It's great politics revision. More seriously, Green Party leader Neatly Beanies couldn't explain how her party proposed to fund their housing policy when questioned on the radio, which was hilarious. DC called it excruciating, it was marvellous.
Did I really say that?
There was also the bacon sandwich incident.
Oh,
Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie. Kind of hounded Ed.
I don't think he ever really lived it down. It got very personal.
It was front page news, that's how dull things are here in Britain. It was Labour Party leader Ed Miliband ate a bacon sandwich. It looked rather stupid while doing so.
Yeah.
It just wasn't Ed's year.
No.
The Miller fandom.
Which was created by the Twitter user TW Cuddleston.
Put a link into her Twitter in the description below.
Yeah, she basically created something which became known as #MillerFandom. Which resulted in a group.
Great.
Well, there was people took a liking to her basically.
People thought Ed Miliband was sexy.
Yeah. A hen party even hounded him as he got off the campaign bus in Chester.
Demanding selfies. Oh god, the Edstone.
Edstone.
They built like an 8-foot stone slab with 8 bland policy promises written on it. And many people thought it was quite arrogant. It was described as the Edstone.
Yeah.
Some people at the sofa may have described it using the hashtag moron on the mount. The Daily Mail, which is like a right-wing UK newspaper, they were offering a case of champagne to anyone who could tell them where it was.
Yeah, after the election, someone even put it on eBay as a joke.
It's a very bitchy campaign this year. There was loads of bitching.
I mean, it was so exciting because it was just so unpredictable as to who was going to win. It was just great.
Fantastic for politics students, really dull for everyone else. So, like, there was loads of bickering about who said what about non-doms, though I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what a non-dom is.
We'll get back to you on that. We don't know.
Conservative Chancellor George Osborne made promises that many doubt he will keep on the NHS funding, which...
We'll see that in the budget.
Yes, which is in a couple of weeks. And SNP leader Alex Salmond was filmed joking that he would be writing Labour's next budget, which of course the Conservatives leapt on. The minor parties really came into the fore in a way that they kind of hadn't in previous elections. Like in 2010 we had Cleggmania, where everyone suddenly fell in love with the leader of the Liberal Democrats in the SNP. Certainly the Conservatives played up to the idea that
breakup of the union,
that wanted to see the United Kingdom become disunited would get into government, and a lot of people were very afraid of that. And a Lib Dem friend of ours said that that was one of the reasons they think that the Lib Dems lost quite as badly as they did. And the Conservatives really played up to the rhetoric with adverts like this. The polls were virtually neck and neck between Labour and the Conservatives throughout the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, every day we were like, have you seen the polls today? Have you seen the polls today?
Comrades has that by 6. Well, ICM puts you behind by 1. I have never been more, even when I actually studied this as a subject last year, I have never been more familiar with the names of polling companies. I was very busy in the last week of the campaign during the run up to my exams. I went on the Conservative campaign bus for a few days, which is like knocking on people's doors and persuading people to vote. First week of May I spent Monday campaigning in Lincoln, which is about 100 miles away from where we live. Tuesday and Wednesday in school. Wednesday night I went up to Carlisle, which is 250 miles, on a school night to watch David Cameron speak in like the final rally before the election. It was great. And then back to school on Thursday. Stayed up all night to watch the results coming in, and then straight back into school on Friday.
You did an all-nighter. I was up till about, I think it was half term. But it is very exciting waiting for the first constituency to announce. Yeah, it was a very eventful night. I mean,
6 weeks of predicting that we were going to have a coalition, and the exit polls predicted the Conservatives were going to get almost
when the exit polls came out, I mean, everyone was just like, oh, here we go again, another coalition. And
literally no one believed the exit polls were right though.
Because, I mean, towards the end, people didn't even think the SNP were going to do that well.
Yeah.
But I think the results started coming in for Scotland at around 2:30, was it? 2:30, 3 o'clock?
A little bit later.
The first constituency announced it was like a 15,000 majority, and everyone was just like, what is going on?
But the Conservatives had over the other parties that they were predicted to have in the number of seats just kept going up and up and up.
Yeah.
Great, if you're a Conservative.
Well, I mean, Labour were getting their results in at the beginning, so people...
Yeah, it started off really high on the Labour front, and people kind of like the former leader of the Lib Dems, Lord Paddy Ashdown, he said that he'd eat his hat if the exit poll was right. Labour spin Dr Alistair Campbell said he'd eat his kilt. And then the next day they both did. High profile losses, there were quite a few. Former Lib Dem leader, the late Charles Kennedy.
Vince Cable, another one. Former business secretary.
Shadow Chancellor Ed Balls lost his seat to a Conservative. That was really funny. That was such a saga because they asked for a recount. It was supposed to be declared at like 3 and it didn't end up getting declared until 8. Employment Minister Esther McVeigh, she won. UKIP leader Nigel Farage didn't win his seat. Speaking of which, Labour leader Ed Miliband resigned, followed by UKIP leader Nigel Farage and Lib Dem leader Nick Clegg, to quote an absolutely fantastic post I found on Tumblr. I suppose you could say that politicians were just resigning left, right and centre. But no, one of the most surprising things was the inaccuracy of all the polling.
Yeah.
The Labour Party have ordered an inquiry, and the SNP. No, I mean, it was great to be a politics student because everyone, like all of the people in our class were going around saying, I've never seen polling so inaccurate before. Like, we'd witnessed so many elections. Serve Nation claimed that like 17% of voters made up their minds on the day.
Lazy Labour. Labour voters merely didn't turn out to vote.
The shy Tory factor has also been suggested. Psephologists, or people who study voting behaviour, have observed this phenomenon where the people who vote Conservative is a lot higher than people who say they're voting Conservative, because people might lie because voting Conservative is not exactly popular.
They are known as the Nasty Party.
Whatever happened and however happy you are about that, the Conservatives won a majority for the first time in about 18 years.
John Major, wasn't it?
So since the 90s.
It was a long time.
The Conservatives have a razor-thin majority in the House of Commons, which is not good.
Well, I mean, it's better than having a coalition,
Better than a coalition, but it might cause them problems in the future, because if any members of the Conservative Party decide not to vote with the government...
Well, this is the whole thing,
This is the problem. We're having a referendum on whether or not the UK should remain a member of the European Union. But it has historically caused very big divisions in the Conservative Party. That was our first episode. We hope you enjoyed it.
Subscribe, thumbs up.
If there's anything you want to see us talk about, like if you want, me and Fran both studied politics and economics. If there's any aspect of politics you want us to talk about in a future video, if there's anything you want us to talk about, you want to know about,
we'll do American. If you want more American or more British.
You can follow us on Tumblr. We'll put a link in the description. And Twitter. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.